What's up, my friends? Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at my custom Impossible Mission Force team from the Mission Impossible movies. Real quick housekeeping note, I do have more of the Kit Knight Rider build videos coming. It's just been a really busy work time for me, and that's a really time-consuming project. So I wanted to have the time to actually dedicate to getting a chunk of it done before I post another video of it. So in the meantime, I wanted to post something so that everybody has something for my channel to watch. So this is something I made back when I was doing NECA scale customs before I got into Mezco. I love the Mission Impossible movies. I don't think there's been a stinker in the bunch. You know, the first one was definitely like a different sort of thing. The second one was like a crazy late 90s, early 2000s style action movie. And then 3 through 6 were just fantastic. I can't wait for 7. And I wanted to have a tribute to my love for that franchise on my shelf, so I made these. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite Mission Impossible movie is. I think I really love 3. A lot of people don't like that one for some reason. I think it really set the series off to what it has become, and I enjoy that. And I think it's just a good movie, and Philip Seymour Hoffman, rest in peace, was an incredible villain in that. So let's start with Ethan Hunt. The base here, the legs are from a Blade Runner Officer K, the Ryan Gosling figure. The torso is from a Terminator Genesis figure. There were 2 versions. One was like battle damaged, and then there was this one that had the great jacket and arms. So I used that and for the torso and hands, and then that custom Tom Cruise head shrink on there that I got from Action Figure Customs on eBay. One of the best out there in the customizing supplies game, so definitely check him out if you haven't already. And it actually scaled pretty well. I think this is intended for a Mezco size figure, and then obviously Schwarzenegger-based figures have a pretty large body, but it doesn't really look out of scale for Rebecca Ferguson's character, which, of course, I just profess my love for these movies, and now I'm blanking on her character's name. Is it Isla or something? This is going to drive me nuts. Put it in the comments, because I can't remember. I used a Sarah Connor lower body. Actually, the whole thing was a Sarah Connor body, and then the arms and jacket were from a Halloween Laurie Strode figure from the more recent Halloween movie. This version I made was a NECA hit girl, so that's actually I can't remember her name, Chloe something, or I don't know. Anyway, the actress. But I painted it to make it look more like Rebecca Ferguson, and I added different hair and stuff. But now there's actually a Rebecca Ferguson head sculpt from the Dune McFarlane figures, which I have. I need to swap it out and probably repaint it. The helmet is from a Hit Girl figure. I always meant to paint that, actually, because purple looks kind of funny, but, you know, it's serviceable. And then the bike was like a Maisto, I believe, 110 scale bike that I want to say I got on Amazon. And it was perfect for like the, you know, it's a BMW model. And in those movies, specifically in the later ones, you know, there's like a motorcycle chase scene, I think in France. I want to say it was in Fallout. And, you know, the police used BMW motorcycles over there. So it worked out because one of them ended up stealing a bike or something. So it was kind of the perfect fit for this setup. The Marcellus Wallace Pulp Fiction head is on a Terminator body. This was the other Terminator Genesis figure, so I remember having to try to find those specific jackets so that I could get this one without the hood for him. It's so funny, now that I customized with Mezco stuff and soft goods, it's like you just find the right jacket. But back when I was doing this, you had to get the torso from this figure and the legs from that one, and, you know, it was a much more difficult process back then. Then the head, as I mentioned, is Marcellus Wallace. The hat, the little pork pie hat, was actually from a Mezco Walter White, and I just kind of jammed it right on top of there. And then the bag, I don't remember what the bag was from. It was an accessory from some figure, and, you know, him being the tech guy, it seemed like a good thing to have for him as an accessory. The Simon Pegg figure in the back there, obviously a Shaun of the Dead head that I sculpted hair onto and repainted. The torso is from, I think, a NECA Harry Potter figure. Either Harry Potter or Edward Cullen. And I think it was an untucked shirt, so I had to cut it and make it like tucked in. The arms are from the Terminator Genesis T-1000 police officer, and I painted those blue to match the shirt. And then the lower body is the pants and shoes, also from that Terminator Genesis figure. And then the suspenders I just made with some duct tape, some black duct tape. I cut it real small. Actually, I didn't pull him out because you can't see him back there. He's got a cell phone. I believe that's from an iZombie Diamond Select figure. These barrels I got at a Walmart, they were in the toy aisle and they had like some kind of goo in them. They still do. I never opened them. And then I just painted them. They came black and I just weathered them with some rust-colored paint. The table is, I wanted it to make it look like it was just kind of a makeshift warehouse setup, because they're usually needing to do that in these movies. They kind of have to like find a little spot to set up shop and do whatever they do. So I wanted it to have that feel. And so the table's made out of these barrels and just a piece of balsa wood that I weathered to make it look old with some watered down black and brown paint. The crate he's sitting on is actually a little wooden block, just a smooth wood block that I got at Michael's Crafts, and then I used popsicle sticks and I cut them to make the pattern of like the framing of a crate, and then I painted it. And these are actually not slats in there. I just painted it to look like it was kind of layered wood with the slats with the framing over it. And then for me, the thing I'm most proud of probably in this whole thing is the face printing machine. So I looked up reference of it, and it's this cylindrical shaped like box thing that opens up. At least it was in Mission Impossible 3. It's since changed and got more streamlined in the later movies. Like in Fallout, I think it was just like a briefcase with a laptop thing in it. But I wanted to do that big setup, and I literally walked through an entire Home Depot and like a Lowe's trying to find something to use for it, and I just found nothing. And then I was in my kitchen and I was looking at the spice rack, and we had a couple of bottles that had these lids that were perfect. So I took 2 of those, cut them down the middle, glued them like this, and boom, there it was. And I added some extra kind of trim pieces on there to kind of make it look a little bit more like they do in the movie. And then I just cut the head off of a spare. I had a bunch of these T1000s. So I cut the head off of that and, mounted it on this little bracket thing I had. And then this laptop, I believe, came with like one of those Bodycoon SH Figure Arts or Bandai, figures that you get for like posing for reference shots and stuff. It's like one of those blank gray bodies. And it came with a bunch of accessories. So I took that, I painted it black, and I printed off like a laptop keyboard, and then the screen that they use in the movie for like to show the progress of the face being printed. And then I just put them in there with some action figure packaging plastic on top to give it like a reflective surface so it looked more like a screen. And I masked off the back here so that it would look like it was a kind of a gray or silver laptop in like a protective case. You can see the little keyboard in there. And then we've got the diorama, which is the thing that holds it all together. This was the pink insulation foam that I've mentioned before in other videos. And then basically I just kind of figured out what size I wanted it to be on the shelf, cut the pieces to fit. I knew that I wanted to have sidewalls on it, but I didn't want it to extend all the way because I didn't want it to block too much light. I also have a window in this panel so that some light gets in. So the window, I cut a hole out, I framed it with balsa wood, and then I took a piece of action figure packaging and sanded it so it would have that kind of frosted, dirty glass look. And then I put a piece of a pen holder that I cut out. I was at Target, and they have like that dollar section in the front there. I got these like office supply pen holder things, and I cut a piece out to make it look like a window grate. And it ended up being like the perfect scale, so that was pretty cool. The utility box I made out of the insulation foam, I just cut a little piece, painted it, and I happen to have that little sticker from something, so I put it on there. And then that's just a straw with some staples from a staple gun holding it in place to look like wall brackets. This wire and button mechanism here are just a piece of the bendy wire that comes with the action figure that I bent into shape, and then that's just a little piece of wood down there that I cut a little strip off of and put a little, you can get these like little half bead pearl things at the craft store that for like scrapbooking, and they make perfect like rivets and buttons and stuff, so that's what is stuck on there. And then you can see I weathered the walls quite a bit. You know, I wanted to have a pop of color, so I decided with that kind of like industrial green that you see in a lot of like old buildings. And then the two-tone with that kind of cream color. And then I used white in various spots all over. You can see like up here and up there and stuff. And then, you know, little like dings in the paint, rust spots, things like that to kind of just make it look like older and dingier. And then the roll-up door is just a piece of like corrugated craft paper. You can get these by the pack for pretty inexpensive at, you know, Amazon, craft stores, etc. I think it was like a neon green color. So I painted it black, and then I dry brushed it with silver, and then, you know, hit it with some rust spots to kind of make it look old and weathered. And then the roll-up housing is just a piece of foam that I cut in a shape that resembles the housing that those things roll up into. And then the final detail were these, I don't know what you call them, these stopper things. They're like bumpers for vehicles so you don't back into the wall. You know, you see these everywhere, drive-throughs, loading docks. You would have seen them back in the day if you had a drive-up video store rental drop-off. Shout out to people who remember video stores. And then those are just pieces of wood that I painted, made a hole in the foam and stuck it in there and glued it. Even though I don't make figures in the NECA scale with, you know, the molded plastic clothing anymore, I'm still really happy with how this one turned out. This was a set that I wanted to make for a long time, and I was kind of slowly building them in my head. I did these probably in my first year of customizing, and so I was kind of building up to this. I do miss painting NECA scale heads. Man, they're so much easier than 6-inch scale figures, but you know, just that extra, you know, a little bit of size really helps, especially with the eyes. So that is my custom IMF team with warehouse diorama to go with it. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. If you want to see more content like this, please check out my other videos. I've got several up now that showcase my various customs and a lot more coming. If you're into this kind of stuff, please hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you as a regular on here checking this stuff out with me. And until next time, keep your head on swivel.